Your movie gave me so much joy as someone who enjoys a routine. I felt
Mm.
very seen, maybe a little attacked, but no, not really. I I just think you do. I was so impressed that you do this whole short basically wordless. I love the I just have to say the sound that he makes every time he has a piece of chocolate. I'm anticipating that every single time. I thought that was really fun. So long story short, I loved your movie and thank you for taking the time to talk to me. Um, I guess a really basic question here that I have for you first. Um, why the bassoon? Is that the most awkward instrument?
It's the funniest instrument. The way I see it, it just makes me laugh. I don't know why.
It's a weird
It's
shape.
it's a weird shape. It makes a funny sound.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward to hold. It's just funny.
Like I even thought like even the mouthpiece is weird. Like
Yeah,
it's like this tiny little
but
squiggly thing.
you can't even figure out how the hell it works. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you see a guitar, you kind of you can figure out how the sound is formed, what you pluck the strings, the
Yeah.
piano, the violin, you can kind of see it.
Uh,
But with the bassoon, I have no clue to this day how it works.
I think that is a great mystery of life, and I think we should forever not learn how it works. I think that makes it
Yes,
funnier.
yes. It's good to keep that mystery going.
Yes. Um, I guess I just wanted to know also, what is the art of showing routine? I love when we really get to see the beginning to end of what this guy does, and then there's the sequence where it like really picks up. It's the sort of I want to say even symphony of editing here and pace. I don't want to say like what is the biggest challenge with showing a sort of seamless routine, but I guess I am asking that because I think that is a really great piece that we don't even realize that we are uh not tuned in, but I don't think we realize like how much we're sort of on this guy's side a little bit when we see that. And I guess yeah, just tell me about that because I loved it.
Well, you know what? You said that you love a routine, and so do I. And I think a lot of us like routines. I
Hmm.
think I think a lot of people are creatures of habit. And I think even if you're not, you might know someone who is. And we all like our comfort zone. But the routine in this case is a manifestation of complacency.
Hmm.
When we meet this guy, he's lost his spark. Because
Hmm.
of his loss, he's comfortable and quite content. He's not depressed, but he's lost his spark and he's comfortable in this routine.
Hmm.
And of course, happy to play one note. And he's a very skilled musician, of course. But everything in what he does is a dramatization of his mental state. So it's a
Okay.
tool, it's a storytelling tool, really.
Hmm.
How do you tell that story? Well, that's one way to show it.
Yeah.
And so the challenge here is, of course, not to become, dare I say, repetitive, because it is repetitive by nature, but you don't
Hmm.
want to bore the audience
Yeah.
by saying you got to make it interesting and funny. And so that's a challenge to keep it visually interesting. And when the routine repeats,
Hmm.
I made sure that each shot was
It was
different.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, each setup was different. Each lens was different. Performance, of course, is different because as the pace increases, you've got less time to tell the same story. So
Hmm.
the little bits of digital film become shorter and shorter, and therefore performance needs to be faster and faster. So that by the end of it, he runs down the stairs. Now
Yeah.
you don't know why he runs down the stairs, but he does. And it's funny. So the technical challenge was that. So there's that, the storytelling challenge, and there's a technical side, the challenge to it is
Hmm.
that for the first time in my career, my slate read 3/2.1 A B M 4 because it was just broken down to all these little bits and pieces. And I
Hmm.
storyboarded the whole film. So it was really like putting together a puzzle. So it was very bitsy. So that was a challenge
Itsy.
to keep a track of all these little bits and pieces.
Yeah. I love that when I watched it the first time, I was like, I like that it's a different setup, a different shot. I feel like it's interesting that we kind of get to see once we establish what the routine is to sort of see it from a different perspective or a different angle is very refreshing. I feel like maybe a different filmmaker would show the same routine from the same way every single time, and I don't think that would be as engaging. I think the audience would get very um not bored, but I think it would become too predictable too fast. And I feel like I like that that sequence really kept us on our toes almost to the point where it was like, is it going to deviate from it? Is something going to be different? But then like
Mhm.
the part where he's running out of the house later and we see that he like leaves his helmet on the hook and he runs back in. For some reason I very vocally was like, oh no. Like there's something about that that I felt very akin to, I will say.
Yeah, and once you establish the routine, then you manipulate the routine and change little tiny details in the
Yeah.
routine. And it's interesting how many of these details, I was able to put into the script. I was surprised at how many little things you could change and how much they would mean
Yeah. Yeah.
about what he feels and where he's at and what things he's forgetting. And suddenly the toothbrush is facing the other way. But he remembers a little too late. He doesn't forget
Hmm.
all the way, but he comes back. But then, of course, in the end, he forgets. So that's not important. So it's just really interesting.
Yeah. Oh wow.
I was fascinated by all that.
Yeah, I've known people like him. There's a like I like certain stuff done to a certain degree, but then there was like this
Mm.
guy lives on a, you know, a whole other realm almost. And I know I love I love the image of him playing one note and then just like packing up his stuff. Immediately the thought of seeing that as an audience member, like if I paid money to sit in the audience and just see that, I don't think I would be able to help but laugh.
Yeah,
Maybe. Yeah.
it,
Um,
it, it's kind of it's kind of ridiculous, but it works.
yeah. I did want to ask about the music there. This may sound make me sound incredibly uncultured, but the music that they are playing, was that written for the film or is that like a beautiful piece of historical music that I just don't know the context of?
No, no, it's all original music
Uh,
by our genius, amazing Oscar-winning composer Stephen Warbeck, who won an
okay.
Oscar for Shakespeare in Love, and he also composed music for Billy Elliot, Captain Corelli's Madeline, and so many other movies. And I was such a huge fan of Stephen's.
Hmm.
Obviously, Shakespeare in Love is it's a beautiful
That's a
score.
gorgeous score. I love the music from that.
Gorgeous score, gorgeous score. And so I approached Stephen. He was the first I approached, and finding the right composer to me was like finding the right actor,
Mm,
because obviously the music is the third character and replaces dialogue in the last scene. So when
yeah,
he said yes, I couldn't believe it. So over the moon. So that was all composed.
that's amazing. I
Mm.
did want to know like I mean obviously the name of the short, One Note Man. I when I went in really blind going into it, so I sort of didn't know what the movie was about, which I think was is really great. I wanted to know how long, maybe not how long, but the note that he does play, was that difficult to settle on?
I left that completely to Steven. So I didn't know
Mm.
which note he would play and what how long it would be or what it was. And then Steven played it's the G note. And
Mhm.
Steven played it, and I think it's 4 seconds long. And we had a discussion about length,
Yeah.
and and several very specific discussions about uh, how long certain bits of music would be, especially in that sequence when he falls in love and
Hmm.
here's the violin, because everything was storyboarded, and I wanted to make sure that I had enough
Mm.
music to um, to fill the shots I needed to tell the story.
Yeah.
So I actually pre-visualized, animated that whole scene for Steven to be able to
Oh,
see
wow.
what the
Okay.
shots are, almost like a cartoon.
Okay.
So I would go, I need 14 seconds more violin here because what you've written now is a little short and I need that push in on Jason.
Hmm.
So it was all mapped out, and Stephen was my co-storyteller and real close collaborator. So we started working on this film together a good 5 months before we shot it.
Uh,
It was really a very meticulous process.
I'm loving hearing, I've never heard a director talk about, collaborating with the composers like this before. I think this is amazing to me. I'm a musical theater person, so the emotion that you really wring out of these moments is so uh, I love hearing this because I do feel like I've never heard a director say how much music is like another character of the story. I mean, obviously it's something that the characters like communicate with beautifully throughout this. And I did actually want to ask about the moment when the chaos happens on stage and he finally hears maybe music that he hasn't heard before because normally he's gone. Um, there's such warmth coming from when the violinist is playing. Like I almost feel like she's like glowing almost. Like it's like the music that is coming is emitting a glow, like a halo around her. And I wanted to ask about that moment because it is so uh first of all, the music is beautiful, but also it's like this kind of the realization that this man is having is so pure and it
Mhm.
is so like unexpected.
Mhm.
That I want to ask about that moment because I just think I think it's really beautiful and sweet.
Well, you love talking to me and hearing me talk about certain things. I love hearing talking to you talk to me about how this film has resonated and all these things you've picked up. It's fantastic. That moment, of course, is the defining moment, is the
Yeah.
moment that changes him. So, of course, it's
Hmm.
the most important moment of his life as we've seen it so far. And he hears the violin before he sees it.
Hmm.
And then when he turns, he doesn't see it right away. He has to lean over and search
Hmm.
for he's desperate to see the source, to discover the source of this divine music.
Hmm.
And Stephen wanted to inject this solo with an Eastern Europe
Hmm. Okay.
hue, um, almost like a gypsy sort of Eastern European kind of thing. And he did, and it's absolutely incredible. And you're right, she is bathed in light
Yeah.
because we dimmed the lights and of course
Uh-huh.
made her the center of the stage.
Hmm.
And we introduced the color red for the first time when
Hmm.
we see her.
Yeah.
Before there is no color red in the film whatsoever.
Okay.
After that, color red is introduced. First of all, their shoes, great
Hmm.
inspiration, the red shoes, of course.
Hmm.
And there's a red bow, her nails are red. And then in the park, the couple, the girl has a red bag. So the color red is introduced after that scene. So you're very right. I mean, she does be it's all music derivative though,
Hmm.
because I had the luxury. Well, it was yeah, couldn't do it any other way. You had to have the music before you shot the film because you're shooting to playback.
Yeah.
But we were all reacting to the music we were hearing.
Yeah.
Me and my monitor in Video Village, I could hear it, and I could think about shots, and maybe think deeper about the stuff that I had already planned. But the actors, it was there for them.
Hmm.
So Jason was reacting to something palpable, something live. And that was
Oh,
tremendous help and power because, as you say, the music is just beautiful. And
yeah.
Louis can play the violin for real.
Okay.
And that was really important to me to find an actor who could do it for real because I wanted that authenticity. I didn't want musicians or violin players to go, uh, he's not really playing them.
Right.
You can see them, and then they're pulled out of the thing, So I really wanted to, so everybody can play, and even Jason learned how to play the bassoon for
Mm.
his the one note and also his solo, and subsequently bought a bassoon, and now he's having weekly classes because he's in love with the bassoon. I mean, that's incredible.
So not only is about a love story, an unexpected love story with music in the film, you've sort of created an unexpected love story off screen with the man and a bassoon that we don't need to know how the bassoon works. I don't need
No.
to know how it works. And actually, even you saying introducing the color red, even the violin, like the violin wood, even has like a hue of red to it,
Mm,
like just naturally. So that's so interesting.
yeah.
Maybe I want to go back and rewatch it again. So fun. Um, and I just have to say, I love that the film is wordless, and I just think that really lends to how we emotionally react to music. I think that's another component that I also really love. Um, I did want to ask about I wrote down Symphony of Disaster when I was watching it. I don't even know how you captured red on a bassoon piece leading to I think that is such a master moment of physical comedy that it made me feel like I was watching something purely accidental captured on screen. The way that maybe he turns in his chair and the bassoon wiggles and he gets in the way of the musician in front of him. I guess I wanted to know like how hard is that to capture and maybe even just how many times you did that because it looks incredibly effortless and accidental.
Well, that's Jason's immense talent that makes
That's
it look
insane.
effortless. Immense talent in physical comedy, and the command in his craft is just I'm just floored by Jason. He's just a genius, and
Yeah.
his performance is just out of this world, and it's micro acting sometimes, but you never miss a beat, and the whole story is there in his face and his eyes and his body. So
Yeah.
he made it look easy. I don't know how he does it, but he did. It's pretty straightforward from where I'm sat because
Yeah.
it's all storyboarded and rigged. So we've rigged the thread, and it's all it works in the edit. Um, but yeah, he's just incredible. And the physical comedy you pointed out, it's of course the film is a homage to Charlie Chaplin. I'm a huge
Hmm.
and the silent cinema, the birth of cinema was silent,
Hmm.
and we pay huge homage to that. And if I think back what my favorite moments in movies, they're all moments without dialogue. They're moments where the story is told visually. And
Yeah.
I really wanted to do this. I wanted to tell this story and sort of strip it from all frills and fancy camera moves and utilize cinema's three most powerful tools, which is performance, image, and music.
Hmm.
And this idea was a great opportunity for me to do so. And yeah, but
Yeah.
the cast was incredible. All the actors, amazing.
Yeah, even the it made me think of just thinking about this guy, thinking of routine and thinking about like what he does every day in order for himself to feel happy. And then I love that the couple on the bench. I love that it's just like, that's part of their routine. Maybe they just go to the bench every
Yeah.
day and I
Every
think that,
day
yeah,
they sit
every
there
day.
having their lunch or whatever, and they sit there and they're lovebirds. And then, of course, when he fails, and it's raining and he's depressed and love departed, and
Yeah.
the bench is empty.
Yeah.
So
I
once
love that
again,
too.
changing what you're used to and the image that you're used to and is telling a story. If you remove that, that tells
Hmm.
another story.
Yeah, because you're like, what does that mean? What is going
What does
on
it
with
mean?
them? Yeah.
And when he takes out his his when he's ready to do his, and he's put on his maroon a bow tie this time
Yeah.
because the color red has been introduced and now it's maroon. It's not black anymore. So he's
Hmm.
making an effort. Love. He's been injected with love. He's been subjected to love, and
Yeah.
so it's seeping through. And he reaches out for he reaches for his dusty perfume, and but then he has an accident with the Q-tips because
Hmm.
he's not a master of this world. So, he's into uncharted waters.
Yeah.
So that's what that's about.
I love that. I mean, love, whether you know it or not, love messes with you. If you don't even realize that you're feeling things, those feelings, those new feelings can really
Love
like
messes with you. Love messes
messes
with
with, yeah.
you. Yeah, but love is the message. I mean, love is, the world needs more love
Hmm.
right now. And these are very dark times for a lot of people.
Hmm.
And with this film, I really wanted to let some light back in and hopefully make people feel good for 20 minutes
Yeah.
and pass on some hope and make them feel all cozy and warm. And love is love is the greatest medicine. It
Yeah.
heals hatred, it heals fear. It's
Hmm.
what the world needs.
I agree. Um, I do want to ask you one last question before I let you go. Something that I love was about the movie. Um, I'm sorry, Sir Ian McKellen, when I first watched it and I heard his voice, I don't know how you do a double take with your ears, but my ears did a double take because he's one of my favorite actors. And when I heard, very briefly at the beginning and at the end, that made me so happy to hear his voice. And I guess I'm not want to say like, tell me about bringing him on board, but I guess I just want to know like Ian McKellen, like how thrilling is that?
It's the stuff of dreams, and
His voice, he's such a great speaking voice.
it's such a great. It's like the warmest voice, and he bookends he's the fairy dust,
Yeah,
in this Christmas story, and yeah, I still can't believe it. I really
yeah,
can't. He's the loveliest man.
yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have made a new, I want to say a new Christmas classic for us. I think that something that I like about the holidays is that we revisit traditions, things that we love. And since this takes place at Christmas time, that's another very lovely shade to it. And like my husband is obsessed with Christmas, and every year we watch every Christmas movie that we can. And when I was watching this movie for the first time, I was like, the short film I'm watching, it's a Christmas movie. We should watch it every year. And I would love to watch this short every year. So I think, at least in my household, you've created a new tradition.
Oh,
So
thank you so
yeah.
much. That's so lovely. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Well, thank you so much for your time. Congratulations on being shortlisted. I'm not sure if I said that to you or not, but congratulations. That's really
Thank you.
wonderful. So thank you so much for your time. I guess happy holidays since we're talking about that.
Happy
And
holidays
yeah,
and happy New Year, and
yeah,
I wish you love and peace.
thank you. To you as well. So good luck to you this season. I guess have a good rest of your day.
Thank you, Joey.
Yeah,
Great to meet you.
you too.
Thank you.
Bye bye.